Ever wondered what the difference between MMA and Muay Thai striking is? My buddy Jeff Chan from MMA Shredded is going to break down how.
What's up guys, this is Jeff Chan from MMA Shredded, and in this video I'll be teaching how MMA striking is different from Muay Thai striking. If you're interested in this topic, please check out my 3-part series on MMA striking in the link in the description below. The first differentiation is that footwork and head movement must be more utilized in MMA than it is in the traditional striking disciplines, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and boxing. You see many elite fighters in kickboxing hold their position with a tight guard and successfully defend. However, in MMA striking, you want to avoid staying stationary and blocking because if you do, you'll get tied up or taken down with the double leg.
That body too. Attack his leg, attack his body. Attack his core. That body too. Attack his leg, attack his body. Attack his core. Yes.
Instead, you need to use your footwork to back up and keep your opponent away to avoid strikes and takedowns. Being on the bottom in MMA is very dangerous and risky. Alright, pressure. Try to get those hands together if you can. Yeah. Almost. Drive. Good. With that said, in MMA, keeping your hands lower can significantly increase your chances of successfully defending a takedown by swimming for the underhook or whizzer. If your hands are low and your opponent is within striking distance, you need to rely on head movement and footwork to defend.
Alright. Fight me.
Pick the one you want to touch him.
The second difference is you want to try to stand in a wider stance. If you are standing too tall, it takes more time for you to sprawl, making you more vulnerable for takedowns. On the other hand, having a wider stance allows for a heavier base to defend and sprawl. Elite peer strikers talk about how MMA strikers never check their kicks or cannot check them fast enough because of the wide stance. It is true that because the weight is shifted evenly across both legs and the stance is wide, it makes it harder to lift the lead leg to check. However, MMA strikers have the option to use this as an advantage and actually bait the low kick and shoot for the takedown when the low kick is thrown. A great example would be former UFC champion Georges St. Pierre, who never checks low kicks but takes his opponents down every time they throw a low kick. On the other hand, if you lift your leg to check, you risk yourself being stationary or less balanced, giving your opponent a window of opportunity to go for a takedown. Wrestling is one of the best disciplines to produce champions. In fact, there are many UFC champions who are all wrestler-based fighters. To be able to wrestle successfully in MMA, you need a wider stance and know the fundamentals of MMA striking.
side. Espace le deux, espace le deux. On se fait bouger. Tomber. Oh, up, up, up. Bouger. Tomber.
Prefer to keep the fight standing instead of taking it to the ground, you have other options such as baiting the low kick to land a big cross down the middle. Knowing that your leg is open, wait for your opponent to throw the kick and throw the cross at the same time. Sometimes, you don't even need to counter. You can step out of the way or shoot your hips back and make your opponent miss. Missing makes a fighter very tired. As long as you are aware that your leg is open for that low kick, you can always defend it. And the third difference. As you know, glove size are significantly smaller in MMA than it is in boxing, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. Regular sized boxing gloves can act like a pillow. As long as your hands are up and glued to your face, you can successfully block a punch. This is known as shelling up.
Watch the chin jab. Take your back to the back jab.
On the other hand, MMA gloves are much smaller and punches can often split right through even if your hands are up. A great example is how two legendary kickboxers, Gohan Saki and Israel Adesanya, transitioned into MMA. Gohan Saki continued to use a tight turtle guard as he made his debut into MMA and was knocked out cold. Israel, on the other hand, adapted to MMA striking by keeping his hands low and out. Keeping your hands low allows for better vision, and keeping your lead hand out allows for better distance management. Israel is now the interim UFC middleweight champion. Vision-based strikers are much more likely to do well when they transition into MMA.
That's harder to do as you put. Gillespie's eyes are focused.
Jeff Jocelyn is giving
Punches in a profile. You see Gillespie. See that? See that?
confidence booster.
Gillespie. You know, looking at Muay Thai footage of him 7 and 8 years ago.
Made a very different act.
7 and 8 years.
Thanks so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, MMA Shredded, and sign up to my 3-part series in the link in the description below. As you guys know, yesterday I officially announced my new course, which is now available. Please check out my new course that I put all my time into these last couple of months. It is called the MMA Striker and is designed for MMA fighters focused on keeping their fights standing, just like former UFC champions Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, and Jose Aldo, to name a few. This 19-chapter curriculum covers tactics that I believe help the striking-focused fighter, going through both basic and advanced strikes, countering different fighting strategies and styles, important grappling techniques, escaping some of the most dangerous positions if the fight is taken to the ground, and how to stand back up. You guys know me as a coach that strongly believes in passing on techniques that I wholeheartedly believe work in the cage. So everything in the curriculum is backed up with real-time sparring footage. Get started now with the special price using the code EARLYBIRD.